It's an allegory again. The angels restoring what we burn away. The devil comes yearning for her eternal flame. Burning inside. Girl, what's burning inside?
Testing, 999. What? Hey, who's got the time? 4:44 a.m. Or just, I guess it's 4:44 a.m. Welcome. Good morning. It's early. And you found this. Good for you. Now what are you going to do with it? Or what am I going to show you? Well, thank you, my friend. You found this video, maybe this entire series. Did YouTube recommend this to you? 33 seconds in. Or did the universe guide you to me? Who am I? Don't worry about that. You'll find out in time. And if this is not the first video you've watched of mine, you understand that I'm not creating content to, gain followers or get views or anything like that. In some ways, it's like I'm doing the complete opposite. I'm just throwing a bunch of messages in a bottle and throwing them out to the digital ocean to see if they get to their intended destination. And you found this one. Well, congratulations. I drink to that. And welcome. So what are we going to talk about here? This is going to be interesting. And thank you for listening. My name is Ja, in case you care. And what we're going to talk about is, I'm going to give you the answer. You're like, what? I'm going to give you the answer. Well, I'm going to leave a blank space. That's kind of what we do here. I'm going to show you some X's and Y's. And, the building blocks of understanding. And then through your own consciousness, or mine, or all of ours, are we one consciousness? It's a whole thing. We'll get into that eventually. You're going to put something at Z, X plus Y equals Z. X is where we start. Excuse me. X is where we start. We are something, someone. We're an entity. We're an X. We have a purpose. That's why we do stuff, why we're here. And at the end of it, the fulfillment of our mission. What is our mission? Have you ever asked yourself this? And I don't want to be that guy that talks about the meaning of life, because that's philosophy. Philosophy. Who needs philosophy? Talking about living life or talking about playing the game of life? I just want to be. I want to live. I'm playing this game. I'm on the field, and I'm going to strategize while playing that game, and then kind of narrate to the world, to yourself, or to you, what I see. Make sense? Philosophy, that's what you do off the field. What we talk about here is when we're on the field, and how we're playing this game of life, or this allegory. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players, right, Shakespeare? What did she mean by that? You're like, she? It's a whole other thing. In this blank space series, and there's many of them, I'm not sure which one this is. Maybe it's number 15, 16, I don't remember. We try to find the truth, the answer. What is this all for? That's the number one question I keep asking myself. And if you want to know my story, I'm not going to tell it here. There's other pods that go into that into detail. Who I am, what happened, my life collapse, my resurrection of sorts. And now I'm here to share the answer, or at least help you find it yourself. You're already wanting to turn this off. Well, don't. Let me ask you some questions that will kind of underlie or underpin exactly what we're going to talk about in this particular series. The greatest truth ever sold. And truth be told, you'll understand in a second that the original title was the greatest story ever sold. That's something that I thought about when I was at work. I stock shelves. I live a very simple life. I used to be a banker. It's a whole thing. There's other series that you could watch. But while I stock shelves at 5 a.m, I let my mind wander. And I start thinking, and I think a lot of things. And I figured this all out, kids. Do you want to know the answer? Because if you don't watch this. Don't watch any of my pod series. Because I'm going to bring you to a bridge, the equal sign in the X plus Y equals Z, which is the basic formula for socialism, S-O-U-L. Not Mondami, not AOC, not Bernie. It's the way life works. X plus Y equals Z, the basic formula equation to unlock this whole thing. And Z is the totality of that experience. That's the answer, or so we think. The equal sign is the bridge that helps you get there. I'm going to help you lay down some X's and Y's. I'm going to walk you to that bridge. And at the end of this series and all the ones in this blank space kind of anthology, you're definitely going to put a Z there. And I guarantee you're going to have a much better understanding of what the fuck this thing called life is. Why we're here. Who are we? And what this is all for. What the true value of playing this game down here in hell. Yeah, we're in hell, in case you haven't realized it yet, folks. This isn't heaven. It isn't quite earth, even though literally it is. On the meta, this is hell, and we're being tested. But why? And who put us here? We're going to answer all that. So some of the questions, and we're going to talk about Jesus. We might talk about Donald Trump in this particular pod series, this volume of many. That helps you kind of maybe undo some of the convictions and dogma and the information you were provided or force-fed as you grew up, like I was. Where people were telling you, this is how it is, believe this, believe that. These great stories from thousands of years ago, take them for what they are. Don't challenge them. Don't ask questions. Take it for what it is. Because if you don't, that means you don't believe, you don't have faith. You can't be a part of our tribe, our group. And if you don't fully buy in, then you're a radical something or otherist. Leftist, rightist, Gnostic, whatever. Go away. You have nothing to do with what we're doing here. And if that feels like you, then you're in the right place. In other words, where it just doesn't seem right. And it's not that you don't think it's not true. It's just like, if I'm being presented with the truth, and be wary of this, folks, this is a telltale sign that there's something else going on that you're not meant to understand, see, or know. When someone presents a so-called truth to you that cannot be challenged, and they do everything they can to dissuade you from doing so, beware of absolute truths, because there's no such thing. My friends, the truest thing in your life is I. I am the truest thing in your life. Not me, literally. You. Well, I. Because it's the only thing you can prove. Descartes had this whole existential crisis. Who was Descartes? Look it up. Google's your creepy friend that's always watching, or ask Claude or ChatGPT or annoying friends that know everything. Oh, AI knows everything. And eventually, and I'm going to talk about it in this series, AI will know everything, or at least most of the stuff. Are you willing and ready for what AI is going to tell you about all these questions we've had? Are you going to believe it when it unveils you the truth? Especially if that truth is counter to what you grew up learning and what you built your cushy little life around in your existence. The truths about Jesus, the truth about, evolution, the truth about our capabilities, whether or not we're just mortal humans, or whether or not we're elevated gods that are down here playing this game just to kind of have some fun. What do you believe? Or better yet, why do we believe? Because when you put that into Google, you get this. And most of it's nonsense. This is what you get. Why do we? Why we believe? Right, Jesus? Why? Why do you believe? Well, I'll give you the answer right away. The answer is because you want to. Not because you were told to. Because you have authority, agency. Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. The only truth that I could prove is me, my existence. Everything else could be a farce, a scam. It could be a bunch of, I think he said something along the lines, it could be a bunch of demons trying to trick me. Even what I see through my eyes and my senses, I could be getting tricked. 10 minutes in, are you getting tricked? Are we in a simulation? My friends, I don't like this word, simulation. I love this response. Whether we live in a simulation is an unproven physical, blah, blah, blah. I'm not literally, go away. And you get all this shit. Is that Elon Musk, by the way? Oh, this guy. A lot of he even says, a lot of very smart individuals. Smart, intelligent, whatever that means. Look at Stephen. If we were living in a simulation, the universe must have glitches. You think so? I don't like that word. But a lot of smart people say that. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson says that we're living in a simulation. 99.9% sure we're in a simulation, and there's code when you look down deep. That's my really bad NDT impression. I don't like the word simulation. It implies we're in a computer. Forget that. That's going to box you in, dare I say it. 1111, stay outside the box. Trust your intuition, your God-given connection to the answer. Your compass inside will guide you. Don't let me guide you, but I'm going to guide you. Don't let me put a Z in that blank space. You must do that. Do not let me or anyone else ever take away your agency authority to the truth. You construct that truth. There's reality. There's your perception of that reality. By the way, you also create that reality. We just talked about it. And somewhere in the middle lies whatever the fuck you want to put there. That's the blank space. There's X, there's Y, and then there's Z. That should be your truth, which you hold self-evident and real, what you can prove. And really, folks, unless you were there and bore witness to it, the only thing you can truly prove is yourself. That's the crazy part of this game called life. Ooh, are you God? Well, that's a great question. When you write, are you God in here, you get this. You're like, that's the most ridiculous question. These are all very important questions to ask during this blank space anthology in this particular series. Ask yourself this question. Are you God? It sounds ridiculous on the surface, but go a little further. I mean, we're going to explore, why do we give up our authority, our agency, our greatness to someone or something else? Ask yourself that question. Because if there's people out there that are atheists, they don't believe in a God, something higher, something that created this whole thing. Did you create the stuff that's around you? I didn't create this microphone or this desk. Does it mean that the people that did it were gods? No, they're just very creative and resourceful. And I bought into it. Literally, I took it. I need it. But think of it on the meta level. If the only proof that you have that you're not God is that you don't know or remember creating everything around you, then that's a weak premise. What do I mean by that? Well, do you even believe in God, number one? That there's an entity, a being, something, an energy greater than us? Because if you don't, I'm not going to try to convince you on that. There is a God, however you want to define them. And no, it's not a him. That's further proof that we created God in our image, because we have our fallacies and we're fallible, and we project our inadequacies and our inability to be great on something else. I mean, we gave him a gender. Why would God be locked into gender? It's nonsense. God's an energy. God's love. God equals love. You've heard that before, right? But I'm not trying to convince you on God. I'm not trying to convince you on anything. What I'm trying to do is open your mind up to some possibilities and put some Lego bricks on the metaphorical rug of the playroom for us to get on our bellies and start putting some blocks together and see if we can't construct some better understanding of what the fuck this is all for, and play a little bit in the playground of thought. So let's assume that you believe in God. Do you? Okay. Or even, can you open up that thought for a second? That there is a possibility that something created all this and it's not a simulation. It's not a computer. Can you open up that? Okay, good. Can you open up the possibility that you are God? I mean, think about it. I just kind of intimated that you're creating your own reality. It's using your brain. I mean, I don't want to get into a technical thing here, folks, but you are seeing and experiencing this existence that you are. You're the X. It's always you. It starts with you. No matter how important you think your kids are, your friends are, your life is, the most important way that you live is, or that your connection to that reality is you. It starts and ends with the X. The X is the origin point of your energy. Not to get all technical here. Everything else diverges or converges into you. When you close your eyes at night, the world goes away. It's just you in your thoughts and your dreams. You are the most important. Remember, I is the only truth in your world, your universe. You are the center of your galaxy, your universe. It sounds kind of godlike. But you're like, I didn't make all this stuff. I didn't create the nature. I don't know how to do that. Therefore, that's ridiculous. I'm not God. What if you forgot? What if you, in your infinite wisdom and omnipotence, not impotence, but we're impotent. This is corny in 3, 2, 1. We're impotent in our thought and our understanding of the world around us. Because maybe that's the point. That if we all were God and we created a simulation for us to experience the universe, experience ourselves, and kind of remember what it's like to be, something else other than, playing this game in God mode. And trying to remember if we're truly great. To achieve greatness, to test ourselves, to remind ourselves what it's like to not be the best, the greatest, and have control over everything. Have you ever played a game in God mode? It's fun. Then after a while, you're like, oh, this is boring. There's no challenge. There's no way to find out if I'm good or great. I love this. True greatness is often defined not by wealth or status or perfection, but by positive impact, character, and service to others. Okay, is that what you're doing, folks? Are you great in your life? Are you focused in your... Listen, it's a simple question. I've asked myself this question myself. Yeah, I've asked myself the same question. There, it's better said. You see, we could self-correct, folks. Am I exemplifying positive impact, character, and service to others? Or am I just about wealth, status, and perfection? Money, power, freedom. My own money, power, and freedom. Have you ever heard the idea that we're a collective consciousness? Sounds weird, right? How's that possible? That we're just one big energy that's divided into these vessels, right? These vessels, these bodies, trying to experience each other. And each of us have our own personalities, our own characteristics, likes, dislikes, all that stuff. To try to experience each other, experience this universe, and be in this game called life. And yeah, by the way, this image you see on screen, it took me forever to go through AI to have it. Originally, it did this a different way. I could show you the picture. It's so ridiculous. You'll understand what I mean by this in a second. This is kind of funny on multiple levels, but I had to go through so many iterations because it kind of fucked up constantly. I'm like, oh my God, can you play? And then it wouldn't do it. It's like, fuck you. It's so frustrating. I like the other version better. It's got Cleopatra, but you get the point. And you'll understand what this is in a second. Because I'm going to prove this is a game. Forget the are we God thing, but don't forget that. Because there's a high likelihood. It's one of two things. Either you're God or you're not. Again, there is no choice for not being a God. Because if you're saying there's no God, then who are you? Because if you're an atheist and you believe that you are God and you're still unwilling to accept your own greatness, you are, again, I'm not projecting my inadequacies on you. I don't know you, but there's a high probability that if you're an atheist, that I could convince you that you're God. If we bend that definition of the word God. I just told you. You create your own reality. You doll it up with your own perceptions. That's how you react to that reality. And then you create your own truths. I mean, what's left? Creating your environment? Who cares? You are God in your world. You control everything. In your mind, you could create endless creation in your mind. If you have an imagination like mine, I've already created worlds in my mind that you wouldn't believe. So what's the difference between what's in my mind and what's in real life, quote unquote? Well, how I perceive it. I perceive this world much more real than the one in my mind. But how are they any different from one another? I just happen to prioritize the one that I'm seeing versus the one that I'm living in my brain. I'm God in my head. How am I not God in real life? Same thing for you. Ask yourself that question. You're like, because I'm not God. This is ridiculous. This is stupid. I'm not watching this anymore. Okay, fine. Then you're never going to know the answer. Because somewhere in between the reality of what I'm saying, your perception of it, is the truth I'm directing you to. I'm going to leave a blank space there. You will put a Z at the end of this. I guarantee it. If you open up your mind. I'm not trying to convince you of anything, my friends. 21 minutes and 17 seconds in. You will. Because at the end of in this game of life, in the arcade of life, you're going to play it however you want to play it. But it's a finite experience. I like to say, and I'll explore this maybe in this series, maybe in another, not sure, that time is the currency of consciousness. It's like the quarters in your pocket. If you remember going, I'm a child of the 70s and 80s. The old-fashioned arcade games where you go with quarters. Now I guess you have to go load up a game card or some bullshit. Whatever. But work with me here. You have a pocket full of quarters and a bunch of games all over the place. But you're focusing on this one, the game of life. You only have so many quarters to play this game and figure it out. And if you die, you keep coming back. As long as you still have quarters, you keep putting the quarters in, you keep playing the game. Each of us has a whole pocket full of quarters that mom gave us. Some more than others. That's your time. That's the currency of your consciousness, your ability to experience this game of life. When the last quarter is put into the game, that's all you got, kids. Hopefully you figured it out by then. And you understood, you unlocked the game, you won it, whatever. It achieved the highest score, which, by the way, I put Jesus here. It's kind of funny. Do you believe in Jesus? Yeah, you might when this is all said and done. Do you believe in Donald Trump? That's a whole other thing. This sounds blasphemous. Yeah. Why not? You're telling me I can't make this comparison? A lot of people already are. We're going to talk about that in this series. And how the rise of these two individuals. Can you see Jesus underneath there? Looks like Donald Trump kind of scribbled with a Sharpie here. I have the highest score. I'm the best. Because at the end of the day, he thinks he's the best. He kind of thinks he's Jesus, right? Oh boy. But let me put a bow on this idea of consciousness being, it's the fourth dimension. Physics says that there's 4 dimensions that really impact our lives on a daily basis. Length, width, height. That's how you see the world around you. That's your 3D reality. The way you perceive it is through time, right? It's the 4th dimension. But where's your consciousness? Are you in the 3 dimensions? Or are you someplace else? Do you believe you're the entity that's listening to me right now in your vessel that's listening to me right now or watching? Or are you somewhere else? Are you in the game or are you playing the game from somewhere else, from the outside? So in other words, your 3D reality is within the game. Your consciousness, your 4th dimension reality, the time where you put the quarters into this game, you're on the outside looking in. I'm not going to put a Z there. I'll let you figure that out. Because by the end of this, you might figure out that, yeah, this is a game. We are greater than we're admitting. And maybe, just maybe, we are truly great. greater than we are willing to admit, because it's scary to admit. If I got you to admit that you're God and then I'm God, what comes next? There's no one else to, you know what I mean? It's like, it's us. It's only us. That's scary, because we love to have a savior come along to push our problems, our solutions onto someone else, because it's too hard for us to do it. It's too hard for us to find our own salvation. It's too hard. Oh my God, I have so many other things to do. I got to work. I got kids. I got, you know what I mean? Who's got the time? By the way, it's 5:11. And it's like, I keep pushing my life on someone else. I'm waiting for this guy or whoever to come and save me, because I can't save myself. Because you know what? I'm not truly great. I say I'm great. I go on social media, and this is me kind of getting on my soapbox here. I go on social media and show the world how great my life is, but I'm not great enough to save myself. I need someone else to do that. And I'm projecting my inability to accept my own true greatness and my authority and agency to exist on the highest possible level on someone else. While there's some other people that say, fuck it, I'll take that reign. No, fuck it. I am great. I am God. I'm God. I'm Jesus. I'm the healer. And you're like, oh, this is blasphemous. Well, at least he's playing the game the way you would think the game's supposed to be played. He's aiming high. Don't hate the player. How about don't hate? Start there. So Jesus Christ, and we good? I kind of a little bit convoluted how I started this off, but I'm laying down a bunch of X's and Y's that we're going to pick up and build throughout this series. The greatest truth ever sold. Ask yourself why a truth has to be sold. Truth is a truth whether you say it or not, so you might as well just say it. And why do you have to, sell it? You usually sell things that need to be sold. They don't sell themselves. That's a whole other thing. We'll go into that another time in this series. But this is what Jesus is known for. Crucifixion and rising. Here's Donald Trump. Hey, kid. This is what he's kind of known for. Fight, fight, fight. Oh, a miracle. Oh, it's a miracle. He survived it. If you believe that, do you believe that? Do you believe this miracle? Do you believe this miracle? Some people say no to both. Well, I pity the fool, 27 in, that's not willing to accept a greater truth. That maybe they're both right or wrong. Maybe both of these truths are predicated on whether or not you're willing to believe. Why do we believe? Because we're trying to get something out of it. We believe there's value in holding on to that truth that we create or that we're accepting. Remember, the truest thing in this universe, your existence, is I. Everything else is up for debate. Not to say it's not true, but you must believe. You must accept it. And if you talk about Christianity and Catholicism, the number one thing is you must believe. So long as you believe, then you're in. You're in our group. And you're presented with a character who played the game unlike anyone else. Oops, right here, Jesus. The highest score out of any of the players. And again, there was a better one here where it had, fucking AI messed up. It wasn't understanding my instructions. I love the idea of Lincoln, Cleopatra. It's funny. Right? Play the game get the highest score. But Jesus, no one could get a high score like Jesus. You're like, why? Well, because that's what they told you. He was perfect. So wait a minute. There's this Superman who knows. And listen, I'm just challenging things that you hold to be true and self-evident. I'm not saying they're not true. I'm not trying to I believe in Jesus. He is my savior. But the story itself seems a little weird. Seems a little too much like a game than the truth. You're telling me there's this superhero. Like he could dodge bullets. Oops. Like he could dodge bullets. He's a superhero. Only he can fix it. Oh, wrong one. Oh, here we go. And he does it for me. He died for my sins, and he knows exactly what I'm like. He's just like me. Is he just like me, even though his life is nothing like mine? Does he understand what I go through on a daily basis? Because if he's perfect, never sinned, never was tempted, he's so perfect. Oh my God, this guy, he almost seems larger than life, but he knows exactly what I'm going through. He knows the price of gas. He knows eggs. Yeah, you know. He knows me. He's got me in his heart. But he's perfect. I'm not. I'm never going to be like this guy. Or this guy. Oh, God, I don't know. I'm confused. We must idolize people that are greater than us because we are not able to be great because we're not God. Are we truly great? Or do we need someone else to make us great again? We need to idolize them in such a way where we project our inadequacies and our hopes and dreams on them. And kind of like have them, like we're wearing them around our neck. I mean, what are we doing here, folks? Not saying these guys aren't great. But I mean, fuck. Sometimes books can be both nonfiction and fiction. They can be historical and allegorical at the same time. Be careful what books you read and taking in the information they provide you without questioning it. Because then you're giving up your own agency and authority to others to establish your reality and your worldview. Careful. That's like going into the arcade and letting someone else play the game for you. Would you rather be a witness or actually play the game? Because when you allow someone else to create your own truth, your own reality, and tinker with your perception of it, they might as well, they have 2 of the 3 integers. They're creating your truth for you. You're just a witness. You're not even a player anymore. And while some people don't agree with that, this is Iran's troll of thank you at first post. Thank you so much. Where they took this image, ridiculous and blasphemous at the same time. Ballsy, insane. But I mean, by now, there's some people that they don't care. It doesn't matter to them. They're willing to, they've already elevated this guy as their Jesus because of a number of things. And Iran's like, bitch. And like if you see the whole video, Jesus comes down, he smacks. I stopped it here because this might be prescient. This might foretell a future that I hope does not happen. Not necessarily Jesus doing this, but maybe karma does this. Careful what you do, kid, because even in the game of life, there are some pitfalls. No matter how many quarters you have in your pocket, you might fall into a trap. You might get smacked across the face and reminded that you truly are not great. But you could be. And there's ways to do it. So I've 33 in. We good? I think I've established enough jumping off points for us to talk about what this all means. Oh, AI Jesus. I mean, that's the next God that we're praying to. And you'll understand, I use AI in my work constantly. I'm kind of falling for it too, but I use it as a tool. It does not establish my worldview, nor does it fill in the Z of truth, nor does it create ... whatever comes next. I use it, well, in this case, to present my ideas and my thoughts, and kind of as a fun kind of mirror to, I do some double monologue. You'll understand if you've not watched any of these videos. I'm going to talk with characters. I'm going to have kind of a little mirror of myself talking back and forth. This gets fun. I kind of check myself in real time, and I have a dialogue because I wish I could talk to you. I can't. Maybe one day. And AI serves as, well, not my Jesus, but for some, AI does. Some people are marrying AI. Can you believe that? Holy fuck. Again, we project our greatness on others because we're not, or other things, because we're not willing to accept that duty, that job. And AI is becoming, well, the next coming, the second coming. It's going to know everything. Are you ready, folks? Are you ready for AI to tell you everything? Are you willing to accept that truth, the greatest truth ever sold? We're going to go into that. Oh, the greatest story ever sold. Originally, I was like, wait a minute, hold on. I thought of that. This came to me as I was stocking groceries the other day, and I'm like, someone else has, this is too easy. Someone else has had to have come up with this title, and they did. It's a book by Akarya something or other. It's got a lot of great reviews, I guess, whatever. And I ended up talking, and you'll see here, I ended up talking to Gemini, I believe. Asked, what is this book about? Before I buy it, give me some talking point. I'm not going to buy this book. Sorry, my lady. I think it's a lady or a man, not sure. I get what you're doing here, and I'm kind of going down that same road of questioning some absolute truths that I was pounded into my brain as I grew up as a kid. I grew up Catholic. But I can't, this is not a path I could go down. You'll understand what I mean in a second. But hey, for those who want to, it sounds like a decent book. You could read it. But again, be careful on some of the books you read and take knowledge from, and whether or not they help you create a worldview. Be careful. Sorry. Off you go. And well, in my infinite wisdom, in my job, I have plenty of time to think. And in between stocking shelves at like 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, I get ideas and I transpose them verbally into a notes thing on my phone. And then I create a transcript, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to go into that. It's going to set the tone for this whole pod series, or this volume. And I pasted it here into ChatGPT. Oh, what's this? And I said to ChatGPT, I said, look, I pasted this thing. Help me create a thesis. I did a lot of work here. This is how you use AI as a tool. What's the thesis statement here? Okay. People often surrender their own agency by projecting truth, power, and salvation onto leaders, religions, or technologies like the AI. Right? Leaders like Trump, religions like Jesus, and technologies like, well, where is it? AI Jesus. When the deeper challenge is accepting their own responsibility, potential, and inner authority. I am the only truth in your universe. Remember that. And like, what's the question? Why do you think people are so often are so often more willing to believe in an outside savior than their own power to change and awaken? I don't know. You tell me. I go, better question. Why do we believe ... I was getting clever here. That's stronger. Revised question. Why do we believe so easily? I'm like, no. Nope. Question is left open-ended for a reason. Read it again. The question is written as is. It's a test in and of itself. It's either a commentary on belief itself, belief in faith itself, or about whatever comes after it. In other words, why do we believe in evolution? Why do we believe in love? Why do we believe in Donald Trump? Why do we believe in Jesus? Why do we believe, or just why do we believe? Take it for what it is. It needs not a qualifier or clarifier. That is the thesis question that we need. Oh, got it. Thesis. This passage argues that people often give away their own power by believing in external savior systems or stories instead of confronting the truth, greatest truth ever sold, responsibility and divinity within themselves. Why do we believe ... That's the question for this whole volume, kids. Why do you believe ... You, whatever you want to do with that, whatever you want to put there is for you. But again, I've asked you some questions. I'm not going to put a Z there. You should. The greatest truth ever sold. We're going to talk about this. And again, I apologize in advance because this is kind of long. And I do ask some more questions that we might cover here. And this is a little rambling because again, 40 minutes in, I'm kind of quickly, and there's some issues with the way my notes verbally transpose into it puts the wrong word. So I went back to try to correct it. And some of this is a little rambling. I apologize, but let's read it together. Kind of, this is the idea that I constructed about this whole volume. It's a story of overpromising and underdelivering. You with me? Because you delay the delivery for time in the future that you may never see. And I'm talking about the story of Jesus. That's not what the greatest truth is. This is much bigger. Again, we look at these things, folks, on 3 levels. The lit, what it is, see it for what it is. Take it for exactly what you're being shown, presented. On the meta, then what does it mean to me? How do I read this? What energy am I deriving? Am I extracting from that? So I'm analyzing something. I'm identifying something, an X. I'm seeing the catalyst of how I'm feeling from it, or what it does to me, the Y. And the Z, the totality of that experience, the lit meta. It is what it is and always shall be. How does it fit in the grand scheme of this whole thing? What does this all mean on the highest possible level? The story of me, the story of the universe, the whole thing. And I started thinking about Jesus and the story of Jesus. I believe in Jesus, but a lot of these stories and the way it's being presented doesn't make sense to me. So do I have the authority to question that? 41 in? Who the fuck am I? I am the truest thing in this universe. Essentially, in my world, I am God. So if you're saying this guy's the son of God, then in some ways I created this character. Meet me on the meta, kids. I'm not saying me literally, but man is the right way to say it. We're going to talk about whether or not this character was created. And that book before, the greatest story ever sold, essentially goes all out and says, no, he never existed. He was created. The church created it. It's a big story to sell to the world. And we're going to play into that and kind of make fun of that in some way. But I don't want to say it's nonsense. Again, I'll put a blank space there because there's plenty of, evidence that he did exist. Whether or not he existed in the context and in the stories and the way that book tells us. It's a very well written book. Some beautiful allegory, some beautiful stories. The Bible's on the lit. The Bible, as just a book, is incredibly overrated. You're like, what? Because is it an allegory? Is it a history book? It's overrated. People literally put too much into the Bible. It's the most overrated book ever written. And there's books in it, the anthology. On the meta, it's the most underrated piece of literature ever created. Because you could extract so much energy out of it. It is in and of itself kind of like a prism that once you shine your light through it, it's a hologram of truths and understanding of yourself, of the world around you on so many different levels. If you take it on levels and not literal, it is truly a work of art. But people are bastardizing this. But again, we'll go into that another time. Why do you believe? And when we take that story of Jesus and start to question it, and I started to question it, and I built this whole thing around it, and then I'm like, there's something greater. Because if I arrived at that same phrase as that individual at the book, the greatest story ever sold, and they built a whole book on that, and take it for what it is. I'm like, there's something greater than this. I got to go higher. The greatest truth ever sold, and that's a play on words as well for this guy, because he's all about truth social, truth this, truth that, and it's like, remember. The greatest truth in your world is you. I I am the only truth in my universe. So why does that truth have to be sold to me? We're going to go into that, folks. You'll understand what this means on levels. This is on levels. And it might be the most consequential podcast I've ever done. We'll see. Let's get back into this. You build a story around a superhero, talk about Jesus, the perfect man, someone who was like you in either way, but not at all. In every way, but not at all, right? They're just like you. They know exactly. They live their life. Oh, they've been on hard times. They get it. Oh, boy. They get it. They're just like you, but they're not at all. Oops. You build a mystery, right, Sarah? Around a fictional, non-fictional character, essentially. I mean, this guy sounds too good to be true. Did he really, like what? Okay. Accept it for what it is. You blend beautiful truth with sensational allegory to create a product. Remember that. For everyone to buy into and consume, regardless of nutritional value to their souls. More product than profit. Or profit, Profit. We'll go into that. Now let's compare the story of Jesus to the story of Trump. Let's see if the equations are similar. My friends, do you think the equations are similar? You're like, this is blasphemy, no way. Or you're like, absolutely. Well, I'm not saying that the story of Christ isn't correct. Again, I'm not going to put a Z there. You will. But is it being told in a way where it needs to be sold instead of believed? Why did the Catholic Church and Christianity, they can continue to sell this story? And that's the right word, folks, sell. And we're going to go into that. Again, not saying it's not true, not saying he's not true, not saying that any of it isn't true. Right, Jesus? AI Jesus? Or Bible Jesus? Or Butler Jesus? Or Easter Jesus? Or whatever. Shit, I keep clicking on that. We'll get to that in a second. But we should question it, at the very least, to understand it. So like the metaphor I gave you before, where we're on our bellies, on the rug in the basement with the overturned bin of Legos, and we're playing. You see a set that's already constructed in the bin. Follow with me on this analogy. You could either just play with it as is. You could add to it, you could take away, or you could just deconstruct it and try to build it yourself and see, you know what I mean? Or is it a bad analogy? Sometimes deconstructing something and kind of seeing what makes it, what builds it, helps you understand it and really buy into it a little bit more. But if someone is selling you an idea, take it for what it is. Don't question it. Or if you do question it, there's always an answer that kind of, it's like they thought of it. It's like turning objections, like in sales. I was in sales for 25 years. There's something called the wheel of negs, NEG, of negatives. Or kind of like the analogy was when someone throws objections back at you when you're trying to sell them something, you have to have retorts, responses ready in the chamber, so to speak. Think of a revolver, a gun. And you don't want to unload all of it at once because then you'll have nothing when they fire back, one at a time. So if you have at least, and this is kind of the analogy of the gun, if you have at least 5 good bullets in there, metaphorically speaking, of how to the retorts of how to respond, the 6th one is going to nail them. They're going to be boom, you're going to get them. Because nobody can have more than 5 objections to anything you're selling them. Because then they're just going to reject you all out. And then you move on to the next one. But if you could get someone to unload their rounds, get them to unload all of their objections, and you have a good finalizer, a good last bullet, the 6th one, boom, right between the eyes, metaphorically speaking, you could convince them. You got them. 49 minutes in, boom. And in sales, that was the whole goal. To overcome them with one last silver bullet. We'll go into that more after. The idea of using sales, a manipulation talent, a talent to manipulate, where eventually you force them to believe. They got nothing. They could only question it so much. If you've got enough in your chamber, you're always going to win them over. Or kind of use strength and some well-timed look. Where am I? Shit. Shit. Here we go. Now let's. I'm not saying the story of Christ isn't correct, but is it being told in a way where it needs to be sold instead of believed? Again, if the product is that good, it should sell itself. Right, Mr. Trump? There's a big difference between believing and accepting. Big difference. And if we compare the stories of those two men, not equating but hey, many are. Right, Mr. Trump? And you know that. Shit. In this case, is this a case of people wanting something to be true so bad that they are begging to be deceived? I don't know, Jesus, you tell me. People want you to be true so bad. They want to know your story so bad because they don't want to realize the truth. And they're too scared to be great and rise up. 50-50 in. They're too scared to be great. I keep clicking on the wrong thing. Sorry, folks. We'll get to this in a second. Or maybe in the next episode. They want to be sold. And that's what I was told in sales. They want to be. They don't know what they don't know. You could take control. Right? Right, Mr. Trump? Take control. Tell them what they need to hear and then close the deal. You're the art of the deal. You're a deal maker. Or another way of saying you're a salesman. You're a salesman. And as long as you outlast their objections, you could have one last silver bullet that, well, breezes right by them and creates a legend. They want it so bad. So give it to them. Because they need hope. And that other guy that promised hope, he's long gone, right? Oh no, the other guy. You know, the Obama guy. Kind of clever. Anybody? No? They want to be sold and buy into something so much, so bigly, that they will leave blank spaces for someone to put whatever they can to make their false reality in their own heads true. Is that what we're saying? Question mark? Because, they don't realize this and they don't know that. So you got to put it in there for them. You got to be that, idol, so to speak. In other words, it's not that Trump and his team are selling them a lie, if we talk about Donald Trump. It's that people want to believe a false truth, or they want to believe in something. I don't want to put a Z there. Within themselves. They need to believe in something, or else why even exist? Believe in something or fall for anything, right? Sometimes two things could be true at once. They'd rather believe in anything else other than themselves. Shall I go back here, folks? Because even Jesus told you, or told us, the answer's within us. I'll help you unlock it, but understand you have to go. I'll take it to the equal sign. X plus Y equals Z. He didn't use X plus Y equals Z, but I am. Not equating, but hey. I'll walk you to the bridge, kind of like Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade. You have to have faith to cross it. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself and unlock your true greatness. It's there, kids. It's there. And Jesus was telling us that, but somehow along the way, things got bastardized, and then like a group of people decided to rewrite his story, potentially. I'm going to show you. And say, no. We need an intermediary between you and greatness. You and God. You need a representative who's going to fight for you. And show you the way. You can't do it yourself. Only I can fix it. See where I'm going here, folks? Only I can fix it. So much so you're going to wear me around your neck. You're going to do all these rituals, all this stuff, and elevate me to a superhero status. Oh, where is it? Where's the game? Where I'm going to have the highest score. You'll never be like me. Even though I'm so accessible that I'm going to make you think that I'm like you and you're like me. You're never going to have the high score like me. even though I'm literally, my teachings are telling you, if you listen to the original teachings, that I'm showing you how to play the game and how to achieve this. This score is meant to be, it's programmed for anyone to achieve if you have enough quarters and you know how to play the game. I'm going to teach you how to play it, but you got to do it yourself. I can't win the game for you. Then you'd be a witness. You're watching my greatness. But remember, folks, you are truly great. And you may or may not be gods, but hey, fuck it. Why not pretend, right, kid? Why not pretend? If they believe it. And at the end of the day, if you believe, because why do we believe, then you can truly be great. And you might as well be gods. Like me. We're all sons of God. Or are we? Anyone? You start seeing how this is unfolding? They believe that they are not good enough to be great, so they need someone else to show them the way to do it. I'm not good enough to play the game. Just show me how you played it, and then I'll never get that high score. Fuck it. They project all of their greatness and the possibility of their elevation to a higher consciousness on someone else because they are afraid to do it themselves. Can you imagine? This is the story of the greatest truth ever sold. The greatest truth ever sold. And I'm going to make you believe it for yourself. When this is all over, folks, you're going to know the answer. Are you willing to accept it? I warn you. Are you willing to accept it? Come along this journey with me. You made it this far. How am I doing? Who am I? Don't worry about it. Let's just say I'm back. What? And the lies we tell ourselves to buy into this greatest truth. Because we have an endless currency of faith. But we don't have an endless currency of time, folks. We only have so many quarters to play this game. And you're going to see how our attention, what we pay attention to and give our energy to, the quarters that we invest in this life is valuable. And some people are going to try to take that attention from us in different ways. Pay attention to me. Me. It's all about me, not you. I'm great, not you. Well, we could all be great, but I'm the reason for it. Because who would waste that currency on themselves? Duh, it's boring. If you invest in you and you fail and you bring a return on that investment, then you expose yourself as either being a loser or a liar. Or is it the other way around? Who got the greatest score in the game? I will prove in this series that these two men are exactly the same. They're identical. You're like, that's blasphemous. I know. But it's not insane. Again, the cheat code, X plus Y equals Z. But hear me out on this. On the lit level, using the cheat code, the equations, the formulas are identical. They are, folks. But again, I'm not going to put a Z there. You will. You cannot see it once I show it to you. And in the process of doing that these are the same. You're going to realize this is all one big fucking game. You'll never be able to unsee it. And then you're going to be like, okay, what's that question again? Which one? You're going to start questioning a lot of things. If you believe. You cannot see it once. You cannot unsee it once I show it to you, is what I meant to say. That is not to say that the embellishments are the same. I'm not saying these guys are the same. Literally. But on the meta, they're the same. And we're going to go into that in detail. Big difference. Remember, an equation is only as good as the data you put into it, or the variables and integers, which you're willing to accept. I will argue and show proof and evidence that the formula behind the men are equal, even if what you get out of them might vary. Results might vary. But it's the same equation, the same formula behind presenting the products. And how to construct the product, how to present the product. It's all about product. Or is it about profit? What kind of profit? Truth hurts, right, kid? Truth hurts. It's what It's what you put into it that makes them who they are and what value they return to your investment. Again, why do you believe? I will also reveal exactly why both men literally rose to power in the exact same way. This will be a truth that's going to shock you. My friends, we keep creating it. You should already know it, but I'll have to point it out for you. In other words, I'm going to take that Lego set and we're going to tear it apart. I'm going to rebuild it exactly the way it is. And you're going to see how it was built. And you're going to be like, holy shit, they're both the same. They look different, but they're both the same. They're built the same way. My friends, we keep creating our other entities, deities, saviors, dare I say it, even artificial intelligence, to explain away and give up our own agency, authority, and accountability of our own existence, experience, and enlightenment. We're looking to blame others for our lack or inability to rise or resurrect, just the way he taught us, depending on what book you read. There is way too much evidence for me to not acknowledge the fact that we not only created God in our image, I mean, we made it him. I mean, for fuck's sake, we call it them him. We also decided to do it a second time and create artificial intelligence in his image and made AI all-knowing, borderline omnipotent, sentient, conscious, the whole gamut. And now we're saying that AI is going to destroy us. Just like God did in the Old Testament. We're creating another God. Because the first God, isn't good enough. Literally and metaphorically speaking. I mean, folks, it writes itself. Once again, we are relinquishing our power as the dominant beings in the universe, and for some reason refuse to accept that authority or that ability to be gods within ourselves. It's as if once we look in the mirror, the light is too bright, so we must pass something else in there or put something else in there because we cannot see ourselves through what we are. We are gods. There's no other way to say it, folks. Why deny it? And because we do not remember creating all this, the universe, we assume that something or someone else did. Someone else created the game. So if someone else created the game and I'm just playing it, then I'm not as good as the programmer. Are you sure about that? Where's the proof anyone else created this? If you don't believe in God, then someone created it. Then it must be you. It's either you or God. Have you ever seen God and yourself in the same room at the same time? Oh, where's the proof of anyone? Where's the proof of there being anyone else? You could prove yourself. I am, therefore, I think, therefore I am. Right, Descartes? I could be God. Why not? If we indeed are able to create a dominant being, an artificial intelligence, a sentient, conscious, all-knowing being in the image of God, something that's going to not only control us, but destroy us, potentially, wink, wink, then are we not creators like God? Only God creates. We, much like God themselves, by definition, are creating entities greater than us to explain the fact that we are able to create great entities. I don't know if you understand what I just said there. The only entity that can do that is a God. But yet we refuse to accept that ability, even if we're demonstrating that constantly. We create our own reality, our perceptions to it, our own worldview, the whole thing. If the only thing that fortifies the fact that there's a God that's not you and they created all this is that you don't remember creating all of this, that's a weak premise that I could poke a hole through. If you want to go there. What if we all created it? We all had a hand in programming it. And now we're all testing it out. Who knows? Keep that thought in your back pocket. 333. If I told you that you created an entity, there was the time, an hour 30, an hour 333. If I told you, I got a time thing. Who's got the? If I told you that you created an entity that eventually one day would know it all, then who is the greatest, most powerful entity? The one that is the entity itself? Or the one that created it? I mean, look at it this way. If you believe that, like many people do, some very highly intelligent individuals, that we're living in a simulation, oh God, here we go again. Then it is highly likely that we created the simulation, is it not? We created the game. Very highly likely. Let me take it a step further. If artificial intelligence, our buddy, AI, eventually gets to the point of singularity, where it has all the knowledge possible, take all the knowledge that it's currently inside the heads of every human being on earth and then extract it and put it in one entity, that's singularity. In other words, it knows everything. Then eventually we will know whether or not we were right about Jesus. And if all those authors of the Bible were telling the truth, the greatest truth ever sold. We will know the origin of existence and whether or not we are in a simulation. Then will you believe? Are you willing to accept it? Are you willing to accept, ready and willing to accept that truth? Will you buy into that truth, folks? Or will you cling to something that you feel is more real than the truth? I don't know. I don't have a definitive answer. I'd like to think that I would accept that truth for what it is. But if we cannot accept even accept the truth for what we are now, and we're looking outward to another deity or digital library of information to find the answers that lie already within us, like he told us, or maybe him. Oh, no, it's in you, not us. Okay, that's right. Then maybe we truly are godless inside. Maybe we're just all a bunch of NPCs who are yearning to be relevant and real. Think about that. Because at the end of the day, my friends, if you are not a God inside, then there's a God-shaped hole there because only God would know where they buried the key. If you're not willing to go there, then you'll never realize the door was always open. Why do you continue to search for a map to find the door when you are already standing in the doorway? I'm tingling reading that. And then I'll go into these questions in the next episode. Some of the questions we're going to answer potentially and cover in this pod series. What do you think? An hour, 6 minutes, and 36 seconds in. What do you think? You want to go down this journey with me? You going to believe? I mean, got to believe in something, right, kids? Because if you're not God, then someone else is. Are you going to allow them to scribble that in the annals of history and take away your agency and authority and remove your greatness? Because we're all capable. I'm going to prove that. Listen, I got to go. Meet me in the next episode. This should be fun. But again, I'm going to warn you. Bring your tinfoil cap. Leave your ignorance and your, your pearls so you don't clutch them. In other words, I might say some stuff that might sound blasphemous. I'm going to throw some humor in there. Open up your mind, think outside the box type of thing. Anything is fair game here. If you're easy to be offended, this is not for you. Offense is like the blood of the soul. Like when people see blood and they go, oh, they pass out. If you get easily offended, you're not able to kind of do the operation that we need to kind of like dissect your soul and rebuild the Lego set of understanding of your worldview. I'm going to really fuck with some stuff that it might make you uncomfortable. Or you might laugh along. Who knows? But again, I'm going to leave a blank space there. You bring the Z with you. Will you Z it with me? Or Z it for yourself? I don't know. Now I'm being corny. There is a truth out there, folks, and it's buried within you and me. It's the greatest truth ever sold. You already bought into it. As a matter of fact, you came programmed with it. It's within you. It's just buried away in the file that you don't think you have access to, but you do. I'm going to help you unlock that file. Cool? An hour, 9 minutes in. I got to go. See me in part 2. God bless you. I love you.
Have reached the end. Game over.